Wife cheated with her coworker, but her makeup gave her away. I, 31 male, have been married to Lucy, 30 female, for over 3 years, perfectly happy, or so I thought. I treated her to a makeover for her last birthday, and I guess that was about when things started to change, or at least when I noticed it. My wife has 3 makeup looks: a quick errand running look, an office look 15 to 20 minutes, and a date event look 30 to 45 minutes. When we were dating, all I saw was the date look, and she was quite stunning. Most of the time she is in the office look. Unless we go out, then I get the date look, and the weekend is usually in errand mode. This is what tipped me off that something was amiss. She started wearing her date look to work once a week, and then sometimes when she would go out shopping on the weekend. I commented on it one night, and she said she only did it on special days when they took them out to lunch or had meetings with clients. I noticed that on days when she dressed up, she tended to be late coming home, usually with the excuse of having to work on a project. A couple of weeks ago, I took her car down to get the oil changed and stopped on the way home and ran it through the car wash. I decided to give a good vacuuming while I was there. I was cleaning the trunk when I noticed a small bag off to the side. Inside was her toiletries and makeup plus some clothes. At first assumed it was her gym bag, but there was lingerie set in there, used dirty, and my heart sank. I didn't say anything when I got home and started doing some chores around the house trying to make sense of it all. I finally got an eye tag off one of our suitcases and put deep down into a pocket on her bag in the trunk. My work wife Susan has become one of my wife's close friends, and we talk about almost everything, including things you shouldn't share with your co-workers of the opposite sex. I told Susan about the change in Lucy's makeup habits and her working late. I asked Susan if she thought Lucy could be stepping out on me. Susan's denial was swift and absolute, that Lucy wasn't cheating on me and she was just doing it because it gave her more self-confidence. Susan has nervous tell when she is stressed about something, and after working with her for 8 years knew she was not being truthful. I did not tell her about finding the bag in Lucy's trunk. A couple of days later, Lucy got in the shower with me and started playing with me, and after we got out, she gave me a BJ. I get a BJ from my wife on my birthday, anniversary, and around Christmas, and that's it. So now my head is spinning, and I check the bag in the trunk, and it has fresh clothes and a different piece of lingerie in it as well. Saturday morning, Lucy says she is going shopping and grabbing lunch at the mall. I told her, give me a second and I will go with you. She said she is shopping for clothes, and she knows how I hate that, but I said I don't mind getting to spend extra time with her, and I might look for a new dress shirt while I'm there and could use her opinion. She was clearly aggravated, but I was persistent, and we went shopping. The next week I put a note in the bag, come home, I know. Thursday she was acting different, and I asked if she would be home on time, and she wasn't sure, but she would call me if it looked like she might have to stay late. At 2 p.m. I saw her location had changed and was moving away from the house. I tried to call her, but it went to voicemail, and I got a text she was in a meeting and would call me later. I sent her one back and said I was in the neighborhood and thought I would bring her a snack and a latte. The e-tag now shows her heading back to the office. Picked up her latte and a sticky bun and got to her office in time to see her run in the door. I found her in her office and dropped off the latte, said I would see her at home later. By 3 p.m. she heading away from her office in the same direction as before. I sent her a text saying I love you with a big heart emoji. A couple of minutes later she sent me a me too reply. The bag stopped moving, and after about 10 minutes I tried to FaceTime her, but she didn't pick up. Shortly she is blowing up my phone, but I didn't answer, and texts asking me to please pick up the phone. She got home and asked me how long have I known. I told her I wondered when she started changing up her makeup routine, but wasn't sure until a couple of weeks ago when I found the bag in the trunk. I told her to tell Susan she was a bad liar. I said the divorce will be friendly, and she could then have her new lover without me in the way. She asked if there was some way I could forgive her and not get a divorce. I asked her for the whole truth, how long and with whom she had been cheating with. She said for a couple of months, and asked me why did it matter who it was. I said I didn't want to accidentally shake the hand of the man that ruined my marriage. She finally told me it was coworker and his name. I made her call him and hand me the phone. I introduced myself and said I know everything. Best confess to your wife before she finds out from me, and I hung up. I told Lucy she needed to block him and cut all contact, and she said she has to work with him and that would be impossible. I said I can't see any way this can work if you don't. I said I was done talking and she needed to think about how she was going to fix this. I was level-headed enough that I got her confession recorded on my phone in case she tries to change her story later. Next morning I left early and was waiting for my boss outside his office. I told him I couldn't work with Susan anymore for personal reasons. After talking to our boss, Susan confronted me in the hall demanding an explanation. I said she lied to me about knowing what Lucy was up to, and told her I was onto her, and I said I can't work with somebody like that anymore. She apologized and said she told Lucy to end her affair before I found out for sure. I said I wish that made it better, but that would just be another lie. So in short order, I have lost my best friend and possibly my marriage. I found her co-worker's wife's contact info, and I'm sending her a copy of Lucy's confession tomorrow. Just in case I have an appointment with a lawyer to discuss my options tomorrow. My wife is still adamant that we can get past this but has yet to talk about why this happened in the first place. Feel shell-shocked and while don't want to get divorced, I can't imagine a way forward. Busy morning. I had a good chat with a lawyer this morning. He gave me some advice and gave me a worksheet to fill out and list of do's and don'ts. We have a longer meeting scheduled for Friday, but he will start the paperwork today. He told me that informing the other wife may come back to bite me. He was right. At work, my boss hit me with a short list for Susan's replacement that I have to interview and make a decision on as soon as possible. A long email from Susan apologizing for everything and wanting to meet me for lunch to talk. My boss hasn't said anything, but the rumor mill is going crazy about Susan getting kicked off my team, and the amount of ass kissing around me is ridiculous. Lucy got called into HR before lunch and has been put on a PIP. Seems her AP turned in his resignation this morning and in an exit interview threw Lucy under the bus. He said they had been having an affair on company time. She is terrified she's going to get fired now. If she gets fired, it will change the terms of the divorce, so the lawyer was right about it biting me. As far as the accolades for my being calm and handling this so well, I should say I have lost 7 pounds in the last week and nothing I eat stays in me very long. I don't sleep more than 3 hours at a time and I'm worried when I have to drive. I've called my doctor and he prescribed me something to help me sleep, but he wants to see me tomorrow and run some tests, including an STD screen. Lucy and I are sleeping in separate rooms. I haven't mentioned divorce yet and we have a couples therapist we are seeing Monday afternoon. Update, lots to unpack, so I'll try to be brief. Sunday dinner with Lucy's parents. They are very conservative. Towards the end of dinner she said we are going to counseling because she got caught cheating with a coworker. Dad grilled her at the dinner table and later yelled at her while behind closed doors. Lucy cried most of the way home, saying that her dad now hated her. Since then, all communication from her mom has been through Lucy's sister. Therapy, for me, was like taking a test you had all the answers to and already knew your grade. Lucy finally gave timeline of the affair. Then I got to ask some questions. Did she do anal? How many times did she blow him, since it was always rationed for me? How many times did they meet? Did she use condoms? How many times did I get sloppy seconds? Was he bigger than me? Who knew? Did they trash talk me when they were fucking? Did she lick his ass? There were others, but you get the idea. I didn't give her answers because I couldn't believe anything she says now. I got a chance to tell Lucy how I felt and we talked about a few things she needed to do, like confess to both our parents about what she did. Our therapist talked about what we needed to do going forward and gave us advice about what we needed to think about before our next session. But that was about the extent of what we talked about before we ran out of time. I will say one thing positive. She never blamed me for the affair or said I wasn't fulfilling her needs, forcing her to seek them elsewhere. The FaceTime with my parents went great compared to hers. They were both pretty stoic when she told them. My dad did say he was very disappointed in her decision making. That's as close as my dad gets to calling someone the W word. I told a few of our friends the details. I made sure that a couple of them were the type to do the work for me. Lucy has been beside herself answering questions coming in from all our friends. She has made me some ludicrous offers, an open-ended hall pass, opening the marriage, and other sexual favors. I told her 2 wrongs don't make it right, and I wasn't the one that wanted an open marriage. Tomorrow is Thursday, D-Day, and she gets served her divorce papers around 9 a.m. What I wouldn't give to have a video of her getting served and seeing the look on her face. Why isn't that a service the process servers offer? I was waiting till after tomorrow to update this post in a new post. Should I do a new update post or simply add it to this one? Update. Recap: I caught my wife Lucy having an affair with a married coworker. I put a note in her go bag saying, "Come home, I know." She got home and confessed to seeing him for over 2 months and begged for forgiveness. She said she would do anything to stay together. I made her call him and hand me the phone. I introduced myself and said, "I know everything. Best confess to your wife before she finds out from me," and hung up. I had recorded my wife's confession and sent a copy to his wife. I told Lucy she had to confess to both our parents about what she did. My parents were upset, but her parents practically disowned her. The next day, her AP went to work early and turned in his notice. Before leaving, he threw my wife under the bus and confessed most of their trysts happened in the afternoons on company time. I met with a lawyer and got divorce proceedings underway. We did go to therapy where I got to ask a lot of uncomfortable questions and let her know how badly she hurt me. Afterward, she made me some ludicrous offers, an open-ended hall pass, opening the marriage, and other sexual favors. I told her 2 wrongs don't make it right, and I wasn't the one that wanted an open marriage. Last Thursday she got served, and I dodged her phone calls all day. I had a neighbor couple with me at the house when she got there, and they were witness to her tantrum. She threw several items at me while yelling and screaming. The police were called and they arrived in time to see her launch a glass at me. After getting the story from all 4 of us, they asked if I wanted to press charges, which I declined. They told her she needed to find someplace other than here to spend the night and walked her in while she packed bag. Her sister showed up and got her to go home to her apartment. Upon hearing about the events at my house, my lawyer wasted no time in getting a restraining order against my wife. When she got the RO, she had a panic attack and/or a nervous breakdown and had to be taken to the ER, where they kept her until Tuesday morning. Sunday, her sister came by the house and packed up the rest of her things and took them back to her place. I asked how Lucy was doing, but got nothing from her sister but some attitude. Tuesday morning, her lawyer finally reached out to mine, and they have meetings scheduled to talk about settlement. At my lawyer's request, have an appointment with a therapist he recommended for later in the week. A sincere shout out to several of you who have let me vent and offered encouragement privately.